I can share again. Yeah, so we've got a new community contributor just started onboarding. So they just pinged us in Discord sort of saying like they're just starting and they don't really know what the next steps are. So we could just give them a quick pointer. They're looking for a back end issue. So I don't know if you've seen the onboarding sort of issue yet.
Not yet, yeah.
So every time someone requests access to our community forks, the community members group, an automation creates an onboarding issue for them.
Nice.
And it tries to give as much information as possible, but in a digestible, the most digestible fashion possible at the same time, because as you know, there's so much, and it's very hard to kind of include enough to answer all their questions, but not kind of daunting. But the main thing we kind of right up there, we've got joining the Discord, and we find that generally if someone joins Discord, they get the support from us and other community members that they need. So that's a good start. We list we've got some sort of favorites essentially for quick win issues for the different areas, because let's have a look. So we hadn't approved our request immediately, but I think we can approve the request now. They've come and said hello, so I'll do that quickly. The markers.
Hello.
Afternoon.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good.
Awesome. I haven't got anything immediately to dive in. As always, I've got 100 different things, but I saw a ping this morning on Discord from a community contributor during their onboarding, so I thought I'd quickly pick that up. So they're looking, to contribute to backend. So I thought I'd just have a look through. As we've done this a number of times before, we know that a lot of these do turn out to not be quick wins. So if we can find a couple that we genuinely believe, and then just give them a quick pointer. So I just So, for example, I saw one there to do with GraphQL. Okay, so it's creating an entire type, which I think might be a bit challenging for a new contributor. Like if it was adding a field to an existing type, like something like that, I might be tempted. But even that, if you've never used GraphQL before, you don't even know that, I can use the GraphQL, what's it called? Graphical, the GraphQL Explorer to be able to actually recreate and test and all the rest of it. So I don't really.
Yeah, and also
good one.
Also, to be honest, writing a new GraphQL type is not that difficult if you know GraphQL. The hardest part is writing tests for that.
And maybe like the authorization can be challenging sometimes. You can have N+1 to deal with. There's so many. So I don't know. They didn't mention whether they wanted like monolith or excuse me. Thank you. Handle the disabled. I've seen that one around for so long now. Pretty slow tests. Yeah, so there's a lot here that a quick win, but maybe not for a first time contributor. Either. Feel free if either of you want to browse a list as well at the same time, see who can find something first. We do not get server 404, but we get page editing dialogue. I think this is deliberate, right? Because when I've used wikis in the past, like the process is quite often you create a link to a page that doesn't exist. Then you click on that link and then it takes you to the place where you can then create that page. So this one actually interests me because it doesn't sound like a bug. It sounds intentional, but let's see if there's any. So we've got some team members commenting on there. Someone recently actually suggested they'll pick it up as well. But yeah, I find that that interesting because, as I say, that's the way that I thought wikis often worked.
Yeah, but if a team member also updated the description and provided possibly an implementation plan, then I guess.
So I don't really know how to. So in here you get, it doesn't have an article with this name. But that doesn't.
Yeah.
Am I missing an obvious button that says like, but I want to create it, or oh, I need to log in?
Yeah.
Don't know if I've got an account.
To create a new article. You can use the article wizard to submit a draft for review or request a new article.
Okay. So yeah, I don't personally think that 404 is actually the right one for that. So I might just respond. I'll have a quick look at so the 404 link points to, which is not an actual 404, but the create new. So it should be create. Oh, I think it could be the create new page form too, but it still needs to return. Oh, okay. So we're saying we might be able to return a 404 status code, but actually not return a 404 error message as such, but still return the create new page.
Yeah, I wonder if this has. I wonder what happens when you try to access a wiki page from, for example, curl. Maybe that's the reason why they need the 404.
So I know you can't see my terminal, but I'm just going to try curling myself. Can you remember the curl command to say what? Tell me the status. Oh, actually, I don't need to do that. I can just check the network, can't I?
I think this is requesting an HTML document, though.
Yeah, but you get a 404, so perfect. Okay, great. Okay, I'm more on board now. So they want a 404 status code, but they still want to potentially return to the site, like still render the same page, but just in the background, make sure we get a 404. Awesome, cool. But it does look like someone's picked it up. Oh, and they have an MR up. So I may assign them and change the status. Okay, so there's no the month old, there's no what's it on there. So I might sort of say they could potentially collaborate with them. Morning, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Hello, how are you guys?
All good, thanks.
Great, thanks.
Good afternoon, all of you, right?
I am 11:30, so I have half an hour until lunch.
Okay.
And it's the crack of dawn for you, right? Like about 6 a.m.?
6 a.m., yes.
Nice.
AM? You're already up?
I've been in meetings for the past 2 hours, so.
Ouch.
Yeah. So
Is that, have you got European colleagues to blame for that? Or
Yes.
oh, you're welcome.
And the nice part is that I don't have American colleagues bugging me during this time, so I can get stuff done.
Yeah. I think definitely at GitLab we're sort of familiar with the kind of different parts of the day where you get downtime or different parts of the globe bugging you. We're just having a look at the moment. So we've got a new community contributor just looking for some back end issues. So we were just kind of having a little look through, and this will probably not exactly strike a nerve, Jim, but like seeing as you've been diving into our issue backlog quite a lot, you'll probably sort of maybe feel a bit of my pain here as I go through and find that actually very few of these appear to be, let's say, quick wins for anyone, as opposed to some of these where I'm thinking, oh, this is a quick win for somebody that knows GraphQL, or this is a quick win for somebody that knows GitLab, or so on and so forth.
Yep, that's part of the pain. And part of it is trying to figure out who to actually assign it to, or see, hey, does this actually exist anymore?
Yeah, exactly. And we just found quite an interesting example here where apparently the wiki, when you hit a non-existing page, like doesn't return a 404.
This one should be closed, I think.
Oh, interesting. You think it's fixed, or?
I'm pretty certain it is.
That's interesting. Who's this one? I missed this
But
as well. In fact,
none of those MRs have been merged.
Nope.
Hold on, let me go to my connector and let me see if I can figure out how to get back. I'm pretty certain that should be closed.
I will see if I can. I've never used that wiki.
Yeah, so I get this wiki doesn't have any content yet. Let me see if it's an actual 404 error though.
I think that was what. Yeah, I think that was what they were saying, that it returns a 200. So I haven't actually approved them yet, so I better do that. That I was saying, and it was this one here, I think, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Before I get sidetracked too much. Yeah, so I don't know which projects. GLQL. I'm sure we've got a wiki some.
Oh, does GitLab have a wiki?
Well, that's what I don't even know where it would live if it did have.
It would be underneath, well, plan and then wiki, but let me just log in and create a wiki.
There's one somewhere. Yeah, so I should just do it on a test project, really, shouldn't I? I'd be surprised if it's been fixed. Let's go into a test.
I could have swore it was because I thought it was.
There we go, wiki. So if I go, I don't even know what the URLs look like. I guess it's like some page. No, I get a 200.
Yep.
So it looks like that's still open, but this person has. So I need to actually change the note that I was adding here. So I should probably even respond to this person.
So that has added complexity because if you are an actual user that has edit capabilities, it
Mhm.
automatically takes you to a new page screen.
Yeah, so what we actually had a look, and on Wikipedia, like, so what I was saying at first, I was like, oh no, that doesn't sound right. We don't want to give them a 404. But if you look on like Wikipedia, you get a 404 status code, but you still get taken to the page that says like this page doesn't exist. You want to create it, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So it's actually this weird kind of combination of a 404 error code, but at the same time as returning something helpful in the front end. And I don't know, I didn't look at what this actual sort of. Yeah, I'm not going to try and look at the solution, to be honest. But I've responded to somewhere this person, so they don't work on it, or they collaborate with this one. Is this MR in the community for? Yes, it is awesome. So that means they can all collaborate on. So like this. So there's another number. What is that draft? Okay, so that's one possible one. Maybe not great, but so Jennifer renders the table of contents not only when used on its own line. So it's 2 years old. I guess this is a back end thing, but you know, when you're like, oh, I don't know if this is actually rendered in the back end or the front end. Still broken a year ago. Broken months ago.
I saw the image.
I so okay. I have no idea how simple this would be to fix. But I'm gonna put it on there anyway. Few more and then we'll jump into something else. These next ones are probably quite interesting, actually. Okay, so there's an MR that's been merged, so I'm guessing maybe this one can be closed. Fine. Merge. I can't work out, is this a follow-up from this MR, or is that MR addressing this issue? I wonder if that issue is a follow-up from this MR. 8, 8. Yes. Yes. So this is a follow-up. So it hasn't been addressed yet. This was 1 year ago, so I'm going to unassign them. So that's quite a nice one. Last one more. Sounds reasonable. So we've got an MR open. 2 years ago. Where did it get to?
I would be surprised that there are no merge conflicts.
Yep. Conflict. So it looks like it's not from the community or can't remember if wow. It's quite a while since our last contribution, so I don't think that particularly active anymore. Oh, look who it is. So so it could have already been fixed elsewhere. So we've got issue. There we go. There we go. So I think I'm actually going to say move that one down because it's less interesting. That one definitely less. What I'm going to go for. Oh. Oh, awesome. Yeah, anything specific? As I say, I've always got a list that I can start attacking, but if either of you have got anything on your lists, that's
I don't have anything, to be honest. I still
I
need
have
to.
2 things if you are willing.
Please
So-
do, yeah.
So if you take a look back at that ticket that you created for the ticket cleanup, I have 3 tickets that are or issues that are not closed. I've not received any feedback from the people I tagged.
See how
Um,
easily I can find this issue. So if I go into one of these issues, then you've linked it. Yeah, great detective work. Okay, so sorry, you've got, is it this one of them, this old one, or?
Not that one. The other ones, though.
So these ones that haven't been closed. Nice, nice. It's doing the trick then, I guess, that tracking issue.
Yes, it helps a lot. So that I have to reference Discord like 30,000 times.
So I didn't actually read it. So it's been okay, cool. Let's have a look. So
They just want a spinny thingy.
projects for a group. They just want a spinny thing. So we'll go to a project. So we get a spinny thingy when we're doing that, and when we change the sort order, we get a spinny thingy. So I am absolutely happy with that. Thank you.
Well, you changed the sort by, not the order, but I think
Oh,
that's
sorry. Yeah.
yeah, it works.
So
I
we lost you for a sec there, Jim. Were you saying something?
spinny. So it does the spinny thing. My
you
super
know what
technical front end terms.
Absolutely. We're going to need your assistance at some point, I think, to actually try and so all this data that we've been creating by assigning you to these issues and closing them. Although, yeah, we talked about this before, didn't we? But we need to find a way. So I glimpsed at the contributor platform earlier. But at the moment, all you're really getting in the way of recognition for these is like you only get a single point for adding a note. So we need to figure that out at some point. I know I said the challenge is because you're one of the few that are providing this kind of contribution. It's hard to kind of make a case for building the I don't know what you want to call it, building the logic in there, but it's something that I really want other people to do as well. But I don't know if you've got any capacity at some point to help us figure out how we can make that last connection in there. Just look at those other quick. So I closed that one. Great. So that spinny thing is done. So Nginx proxy header replaces domain with client IP. 6 years old. Let's just see what you said first of all. It's a specific user. Okay.
Yeah, so this is a omnibus installation, it looks like.
Yeah.
And they haven't followed up in 6 years, so
Yeah. Yeah, agree. There's no upvotes, etc., etc. Let's do it. Perfect. Thank you.
I'm surprised you haven't made a quick reply for that yet.
I probably did actually, because I'm sure those housekeeping thingy. I remember us talking briefly about it before. Pre-receive hook isn't able to get loan. So again, 6 years old. There has been some interaction. But again, it's a single user having problems. They haven't followed up in 5 years. There's only one.
Yeah, so
upload.
this was back when GitLab redid all their all their Git hooks, from what I can tell, because
Okay.
I just saw a whole bunch of Git hooks, but they haven't done anything since then.
Oh, yeah, that seems fair to me. Again, even if it is still a problem, I just think like
Right. If you lived with it this long, at some point.
yeah, no, like somebody certainly said that they could recreate it, like one person, but again, 5 years ago. So I would expect way more people if it was a pressing issue to. Awesome. Is this magically update or do I need to reload? Nice. Awesome.
Cool. So now I'll just
Fix
find
your-
more.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's it's as I say, it's hugely appreciated because yeah, the issue backlog that I control. So yeah, what was I was trying to flesh out a what do I call it, like an implementation plan that may be something that I'd appreciate some sort of, I don't know, agreement or disagreement on maybe. So one of the things that we're looking to do, we have like the Heroes program, and there's some kind of like meetups program as well. I don't pretend to know the exact details, but essentially it's different forms of contribution. So speaking at events or organizing your own like small GitLab meetups and events. We're trying to kind of like consolidate and bring everything into a single contributor program and platform. So we need to find like the simplest way to do that for like people that are speaking about GitLab and people that are organizing GitLab meetups. So we've kind of come up with a plan to basically use the bonus points functionality initially, but to allow you to sort of, I don't know if self-nominate's quite the right word, but essentially we're thinking like of an ad event. I guess it'll need a bit of blurb to sort of say like, you know, we encourage, or maybe even link. We've got something in the handbook about. Right. I don't know if it's specifically Heroes that I'm looking for, but not really. But yeah, some blurb that sort of says that we encourage people to speak about GitLab at events and to organize their own GitLab meetups. And if you are doing one, like click here, and then it sort of brings up a form where they fill out like, this is when the event is, this is what the event is, and it would create an issue in GitLab for them to have like conversations that they may need to have, like discuss the event, plan the event, and it will basically add some bonus points. That's the theory for the first iteration. I started sort of trying to flesh it out, if that makes sense. But eventually we thought maybe we'd even have on the front page something here, not just join event, but like host an event or speak at an event. We even thought that when people submit their events that they're speaking at or the meetups that they're organizing, that we could even display them somewhere so everyone can see like that the community are speaking at these events or organize these meetups, etc. So there's lots of further down the line stuff, but the main thing at the moment is to try and sort of consolidate the program and start to recognize these people within the contributor platform. And Mark, I think you've seen, Jim, I don't know if you have, but I know we've got a fairly prolific hero. I'm going to pronounce his name poorly now, Jean-Philippe Beckenays, or who does a lot of kind of speaking about GitLab and making, again, a bad assumption here, but I don't know that they necessarily appear. Okay, so they do. But definitely not at the level that I would maybe hope or want or expect them to for the amount that they do in terms of like spreading the good word, shall we say?
Yeah.
Yeah, so very little really on there, in all honesty, despite the amount that they do. So we really want to kind of recognize that. Kind of ties in with the MVP stuff. You've potentially seen that we've awarded the like MVP status to someone that's incredibly active on the forum a while ago, and those, rather than it always being code contributions. And I mean that's why this platform was created in the first place, to start seeing not just merge requests but also issues and notes, and once you drill down into them, Discord messages and forum posts.
I wonder if one way of tackling two things at once, like you mentioned that it could open an issue somewhere to track the process of organizing the event and stuff like that. I wonder if this could become like a project where all issues for events are created, and the assignee or multiple assignees, if, for example, on the same event, two community contributors are both working on it, and that becomes the source of the points. This way, you don't mix it with bonus points that could be used for something else, and you could actually have a section for like merge requests open, and we could have and use labels on those, for example, to differentiate between hosting the event or speaking at an event and stuff like that.
So we did sort of look at the option of like, the process being you go and you create an issue somewhere, but as you know, you can't add labels to an issue. I suppose we could put the project in the community forks so that members of the community forks could add labels, and there was basically a bunch of stuff that made it a bit tricky. And then if you think about what I was saying about further down the line, if we want to be able to display like who's doing what and spread the word and stuff like that, if we're trying to extract like the date of the event and other information from an issue, it's going to be a lot harder, I think, than starting the process in the platform. I agree that bonus points maybe isn't quite right. So the nice thing is when you add the points, there's a activity type drop down. So we have got this like event activity. So what we could quite easily do, I think, in the future, I mean, we could just keep what we've got, and then we could make it so, okay, as of X day, they're not going to go into bonus points anymore. They're going to go into this events table. Or we could even consider like migrating the stuff that's got bonus points with a type of event activity. We migrate into the events table or something like that. But it definitely seems like the sort of the simplest. I was struggling though with like, should it doesn't necessarily need to appear here, and the word like, we could still put it at the top, maybe like, I don't know.
And why not just manage this type of events like have an events table on the contributors platform and just have, for example, a
Add
tracking issue as ID or URL as an attribute of the event, so that you can link the issue if you want to.
That way you can also show upcoming events and stuff like that too, right?
Exactly, because on the event you could have the date, the time, the location, and all
we
of those.
definitely want to do that, but I don't know. I think like, so we'd need to create the new table and the new model. Yeah.
Because no matter
And-
what, it's going to be manual entry for this no matter what, right?
Yeah.
You can't really automate this.
Yeah,
Yes. Go on.
I mean, the model wouldn't be that complex. I mean, it's a title, date, time, location, tracking issue if you want to, and the user that create that, or users that are participating.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I'm tempted to skip one of the iterations, but I just think that at the moment we've already got this points table, and when we add a record to that table, we allocate it a number of points, and that's all already included in like the leaderboard, the calculations, your contributor level. As soon as we add another model table, we need to update all of that. You know, we would have to potentially add a new column to this. This is using a materialized view. All the SQL to generate that materialized view would need to change. So that's why I'm thinking that that's like phase 2, if you know what I mean. So we create event records in the contributor platform, which hold the name and day, etc. So I definitely think that's where we should go with it. But as a quick to be able to start recognizing them, the let's call it the MVC, right? The minimum viable. I think like we can reuse the bonus points table, even if we decided like I'm trying to debate this one at the moment. I don't think so. We could create another table showing events, and we could filter this one to not show bonus points with a type of event, and we could have the other table only show bonus points with the type of event, and that rather than an add points button could have an add event button potentially. I don't know how hacky that sounds. And the main thing I was trying to figure out was the wordage here, like just an add event button. I'm not sure. Maybe that is enough because we will document that in the handbook and in various other places. But I was sort of unsure whether it needed a bit of a.
But the add event would just be a shorthand for clicking add points and selecting in the event type.
Nearly. It would do a couple of things. It will, so add points is only available to admins. Okay. Add event would be available to anyone. The reason will be hard coded, or the type will be hard coded. The points will be hard coded, or maybe depend on whether you're hosting an event or whether you're speaking at an event. And there would be some specific fields to capture the event name, event date, and a link if there's like a meetup.com event or anything like that. And it will create the issue in GitLab as well. So it's just a couple of little things that it would sort of. So yes, it's essentially a different skin on here with a few things hard coded and a different person able to create it.
But I would still, at least as a first iteration, I don't know if it's the case of allowing everyone to create an event, because that automatically adds points to them. I could come to the page and spam events and increase my points count. I would let anyone create the event. That could definitely be done, but have an admin or someone else sort of, I don't know, confirm the event.
Yeah, we're gonna try trust first, and then if it gets abused, then we'll introduce something to maybe there's a basic level that we can put in initially, like to just say, oh, the maximum you can do is like one per X period or something like that to try and add a bit of protection. But the theory is that the points are the only time that the points are important. This sounds a bit wrong, if you know what I mean, but the only time the points are really important is when we convert them into swag, when we convert them into like monetary value, when that could be problematic. Yes, obviously someone like gaming the system to like show up, but our theory generally is that abuse gets reported and then dealt with, if that makes sense. And that works really well actually on GitLab, you know, when you do get the occasional spammers, etc. But we're trying to remove like a number of manual steps, if that makes sense, in various places. And this was definitely one of those. Totally, if we see that happens and we have to do that, then fair enough. But yeah, for the first iteration, we're just looking at like how can we take this off people's plate so it's not an additional program to run, it's not an additional like process for someone to manage. It's just like, okay, we can update the handbook documentation to say like if you're running an event, like this is the process, a link that will basically take them onto their profile straight into the modal. They can complete the information, create an issue for them to do the planning, etc., and go from there. So yeah, like I do wonder if like just the button here, like add event, is okay.
Well, that could be the start because it could start. You could start using that to create the interface and put that data inside of bonus points. Then when you decide to switch from the bonus points to the actual event system, you could technically probably reuse the same interface.
Yeah, yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, that's exactly how I see it working. So it starts by mainly transferring that information to the issue, but eventually it will actually transfer that information. It'll put it into like an events table or something like that. Yeah. So display a add event. We think probably event name, day. I was thinking size. I think I've mentioned somewhere like maybe just small, medium, or large would suffice for that. Oh, I said roll as well. Yeah, okay, it's a few more questions, but still those ones.
I mean, size of the event, like how many people are there.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's it. So, okay, so should what project should we put them in? I wonder if it's like one of the developer advocacy or developer evangelism. It's hard to find your way around. I don't know. I think it'd be GitLab.
What are you looking for?
I'm trying to find a project, but I'm sure like developer relation, like developer advocacy, developer evangelism have got like some projects where they would be like talking about and organizing events, etc.
Maybe there's the events listed on the GitLab page, homepage, maybe.
So that comes from content for CMS, unfortunately.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So, let's see. Events, that feels like right place. But then
Only
there's one
two.
private.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, only 2 issues. I don't think this is the right place.
It's a private project, yeah.
I wonder if there's a label and you could try to have a look at issues under this group.
So I'm just going to stop sharing for a minute because I know the private projects in here. So if I search the issues list, I might see something I shouldn't.
Yep.
So what sort of label? The problem is because it's a child of GitLab com group, like there's millions of labels. I'm going to go back to projects. I'm sure there must be one that's so marketing, developer relations.
The thing is that I think events could also be under private projects because events could also have stuff inside for events that are upcoming and no one should know about it yet.
So you mean there might be conversations that you don't? I don't know. I don't know. Like I think it's creating an issue to say that you want to speak at an event, or you're going to speak at an event, or you're going to be organising an event, but you don't have like if you don't want to put all the details down in there or whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm totally sure that we should have a project for that. I wonder if the existing project to track events is public or not. If there's any.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there's a community meetups group that I've just found. I wonder whether just to sort of say, oh, let's just put it in there and let's ping somebody. Oh yeah, and don't worry, Marco, the gift codes. I just saw your belated message there. So sharing the right browser, hopefully. Yeah, the gift codes that appear. So once a gift has been, so we've changed the way we issue them. I think you probably know this, but we used to like generate a gift card, which then you could send to anyone, and basically anyone could redeem that gift card.
Yeah.
Code. Whereas now we basically send points to like to your account directly. So the code is actually pointless, if that makes sense. You can't use that code to redeem it anymore because the points get credited directly to your account.
Yeah, I haven't figured out how to redeem them. I'm confused on that.
So you could be stuck in the same situation if you other people got stuck in. Let me try and give you some of the history, some of the background. So initially when the new store launched, which was maybe 3 to 6 months ago, we had to generate we were generating gift cards, and anyone could basically go in, create an account, and redeem that gift card. So when you were creating an account, you were either using Google single sign-on, or you were basically just creating an account using an email address and password, I think. Skip forward about 3 months or so, we added GitLab single sign-on, and we were sort of trying to basically make that the exclusive for the contributor success store. Like you have to use GitLab single sign-on. And now instead of generating these gift cards that anyone can allocate, we actually allocate points directly to an account. The tricky thing is that obviously a lot of people haven't already got an account. So we basically create a fake one using like their GitLab user ID. And if that already exists, then great. It will just award the credit the points to that existing account. If it doesn't, then yeah, it creates like a sort of weird placeholder account. And then the first time that person logs in using GitLab single sign-on, it will update that placeholder account with the person's real like details, essentially. Now, where that falls down is when I think if you use the store in the old world, so before we started creating these kind of placeholder accounts, I think your email address is kind of like attached to that to that old account. We've then created a placeholder account for you, and when you try and log in using GitLab single sign-on, I think it's because it tries to update the email address attached to the placeholder account, but because that email is already in use on your old account, it then errors. So are you having that problem, or you haven't tried to get that far? Or
Getting to the reward store is my problem, and then logging in, because I was not getting the OAuth before, so I don't know what was happening.
Okay. I don't know if you want to, if you're able to give it a whirl now or whatever. So I can't really demonstrate it because my account is an admin account, and I actually do have to log on using GitLab.
I just got in. I think I see it now. That makes sense.
Awesome, cool. But yeah, we did have a little bit of fun. So let me go back to, so we're going to say create an issue in GitLab. Let's use this project initially. The D8 forward.
Did you guys do a culling of what you guys had in there?
In the store?
Yes, in the store.
Not that I'm aware of. We might change from like the old store to the new store. As I say, that was about 6 months ago.
Okay, that might be what I'm thinking of then.
We're definitely getting some new stuff in as well, so definitely watch this space. Like one of the biggest things for us again is, so we're all about trying to reduce these kind of like manual processes. And now that you can plant a tree through the store, it means again we've removed that process. So we now, as soon as you qualify for store credits. We credit them directly to your account. We don't have to ask you if you want a tree or if you want credits for the swag store. We don't have to manually generate those tokens, coupons, etc. It's all, yeah, we're just trying to streamline everything as much as possible. So, ads, so we're trying to work out suggested 500 points potentially. Yeah, so I'm saying, so you'll see an add event button at the top of the bonus points table on your own profile. That will then pop up a modal that asks for the event name, date, link, whether you're a speaker or organizer, whether it's in person or virtual, size of the event, and any notes you want to add. When you save that, it'll create an issue in GitLab in the community meetups. That's probably more relevant for when you're organizing a meetup, but not when you're speaking at a sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, a normal event or conference, but we can figure that out. And it'll add bonus points, and in the note, it'll place a link to the issue. I feel like that's all needed.
Yeah, creating the event system would also help out people. Like if I am an event organizer, then I create the event, and if you, for example, would be a speaker, you could add yourself to the event as a speaker, not create a new event.
And now you're talking about building an entire events platform, Mark.
Yeah.
We probably don't currently refresh the materialized.
We should create Events Lab.
After rewards lab or so
Yeah.
we said that.
I'll say this: I don't know if you've ever done events like that, but that is such a pain in the rear end.
So, amusing anecdote, like my previous life, like was basically an event, and I pretty much was, I don't know, like a consultant for an events platform for 15 years. So, yeah, strikes a chord with me for sure. Yeah, I think that covers it. I think that's like, I was trying to break it down into enough detail, like that someone else can contribute, if that makes sense. We're saying where the button should be, what it should say. It should only appear on your own profile. You should trigger a modal. These are the builds that we want to capture. When you save that, it does this, and some documentation. Yeah, awesome, cool. Good. Thanks very much for joining as always. And Marco, enjoy your lunch. Jim, enjoy your day. I hope you're not still working at 5 p.m. your time.
Hopefully not.
Have a great week.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.